Hey, Teresa.
Hey there.
Hey. Oh, that's right. We have to wait till she comes on to make her the host. Yeah. There she is.
Yeah. It's still just a picture, but.
There she is. All right. We're making you the host, Mom. All right. Cool.
I am muted. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
No.
I can't hear you.
Oh, what? Is this better? Can you hear us?
Hang on.
Teresa, can you hear us?
I hear everybody.
Okay. Yeah. It's you, Liz.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I couldn't before. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but we got it now.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm able to share my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say just give people a couple of minutes because it's right at 11.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I can do that. How's everyone?
Hello.
Got two. Hello.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I like the new report that came out, the with all the new graphics and everything.
Yes, they have been they've been working and tweaking on, you know, things. And then there's and I'm going to touch on this too when I go over everything, but the area numbers are different now. So because FMLS took them away. So there's new numbers. But yes. They managed to flex and make it work. So
Sure, that took a while to get going.
It was an incredibly convoluted process that I can't begin to understand how they did it. So, but there is a way. So I didn't realize that those area numbers were from the 1960s when there were just paper maps. I guess that's where it came from. And they just stuck around and some agents use them and they figured, you know, I think the concept is now people use actual, you know, smartphones and apps and maps and I don't know, different ways to look it up. So, but it messed me up. I use area numbers a lot. So
I think it makes it much more difficult to search for properties when you're looking for a specific area now without them in FMLS.
So you miss the numbers.
Yeah, you have to do the map, draw the map and everything versus, you know, it's a lot easier to find how homes and take out certain, like take out schools if they didn't want these schools in this area. I don't like the change.
Yeah,
I don't think it's just because I've been doing it for 11 years. It's just because it's more difficult.
It is. It's a change, but it's if you use them a lot, then it's a huge impact. And I use those numbers a lot too. So now they did an interpretation of now what the numbers they used to replace them, because they built all these area reports off of those numbers for Chartmaster, and then they were gone. So they have a guide of new ones. I have not begun to memorize or figure that out, but there is one. So that is available for us. But yeah, I used it a lot and I wondered if maybe just not a lot of agents were, but I certainly did. So I'll wait till 11:05 and then I'll get started. I'm just going to go ahead and just do an overview of the charts and the things that we have available to us, and then show each section, just examples of it. And if you and whoever else is on the call uses them a lot, then you tell me what you'd like to know, because this is kind of like a from the beginning kind of concept. So. All right, we will do this in a moment. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
A quick question.
Yeah.
Are we going to be working from the old style charts or from the new report? Or are you going to be referencing both so I can have them open?
I am going to show you the new ones. This guide that I'm going to go through, just the overview of what all we have it was done last year, but it still shows accurately what we have in our arsenal. But the specific charts, I'll use new ones. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And so I know these charts because this is how I started into real estate. My parents started this service. They come from a real estate background. My mom was in it for 40 years, and my dad was on her team for a while. And as an ex-IBMer, was super, super oriented towards charts and analytics. So they 17 years ago, felt the need for agents to have more consistent trends to look at. And they just started building these charts and offered them just to Keller Williams offices only. And they have expanded to many, many, many charts. And it's evolved as agents have asked for more information and different ways to look at things. So we have lots and lots of charts at our fingertips with this, but certainly I wouldn't encourage anyone to use even a fraction of them. You just pick and choose. They're there for you to pick and choose as needed, and for what you want to learn about the market each month and each quarter, and what you want to use for your clients to educate them as well. So the whole idea is to help us be smarter agents with our clients, and also to stay up to date on a regular basis with fact-based trends. So that was the whole point of Chartmaster services that we're lucky enough to have. And I will say, in case you had not heard in meetings, my dad has passed the torch on to Jeremy Trask, who is a team leader, I believe, in Peachtree Road or Buckhead. Teresa, you maybe help me out with that. I can't remember which office, but he's a Keller Williams former team leader. And so he is going to be doing these now. So, okay, so I'm just going to do an overview of what all we have to work with, and then I'll show you examples of the charts and take any questions you have. And if at any point you have a question, just stop me and let me know. So let's see. So what we get every quarter are the Metro Market reports and a toolkit. So the reports are geared towards educating ourselves as agents as to what's been happening in the market, and also to use in client presentations. So you can use them in your listing and buyer consults. And that's what those are best for. You can also use them for lead gen. You can pull some charts out and share with your database also. The toolkit is put in story format. So they are different pieces that you can use. And I'm going to go through each one. There's seller consultation tools, buyer tools. We actually have lead gen tools. They did postcards. I don't know how many people are using them. There are agents in other offices using them. I don't know if anyone in ours has or not. They're very simple, but they're put in postcard format, and it's a chart. I think there's usually about 4. They pick 4 per quarter, and they have them just ready in the format to go, and you just brand them and send them out. So I'm not sure too many people are aware of those, but they are a super easy, quick thing to use. And then we have self-training tools in the toolkit also. So you can go through, and actually this slideshow I'm showing you is from that as well. And I will break each section down for you. Okay, so I'm going to start with the toolkit. Again, there are buyer tools. So they created something called the buyer grab and go. And the concept of that is just to put in charts that are relevant for buyers for us to go over to set their expectations in a consultation. So they've got some fact-based charts to know what to expect with the market. And they selected a small amount of them and then put them into the idea is you pre-print them every quarter and you just have them ready to go. So if you're meeting with a buyer, you can just grab that or pull it up on your computer. They're all in PowerPoint. So you can do a slideshow for your client if you do it digitally or print them out. So I choose to avoid computer glitches, and I have mine printed out and put in a binder, and I update that every quarter when it comes out. That is just my choice. You can do it on a tablet, however you're comfortable using it. And I'll show you examples of those. Same thing for seller tools. We have we've got a seller pre-list packet. If and that's great for new agents if they don't have one. It's good for existing agents because it's just kind of ready to go. And then there is a grab and go, same concept, seller specific, charts and a slideshow you can use. And it's just something to have on hand and be ready to show them the quick key charts that will, set their expectations and help them know what's going on in the market. And all of these things are meant to make us very smart and very fact-based instead of just, making people feel like we have a feel of the market. We know what's going on in the market. So these are tools for that. Michael Lewis listing presentation, they've done it in the format of that marketing style. So that is, was someone saying something or no? No. Anyway, so they just did it in the graphics match Michael Lewis style things, and they're always tweaking that. So that may change over time as well.
Get this message, my numbers.
So I can hear you. Okay, so then lead gen tools, again, there's a postcard campaign. One thing that I don't think many people know we have, it probably needs to be updated for this market, but selling choices brochure. And that was created when, there was a lot of pushback for sale by owners. It gives us a tool to bring to sellers that are considering going either with a flat rate broker or for sale by owner. And so in that, and I'll show you some of the key parts of that. They offer a quiz for the seller to take. And it's a checklist of all the things that they would need to do if they were selling on their own. And it also gives a comparison of what, based on our quarterly report information, it's fact-based, numbers-based, what their likely outcome is, their net, if they were to sell by themselves with a flat rate broker or with a full service agent. And so that is a really cool tool actually to keep in mind that you've got. You could even drop it off at I know we don't have very, very many for sale by owners right now, but we do have people, I've been thinking about this piece myself because I've had more people talk about, well, why do I need to pay you a full commission? Houses are selling themselves. So that might be something to look at and pull out pieces to talk to your potential clients that are, giving you objections about that, because it's really the same outcome, same talking points for that. Also, and monthly market overview is the MMO, and that is, that's a lead gen tool, but it's really not in the quarterly market reports. That is its own separate entity. So I'll talk about that too. And then the self-training tools, they created a chart master for dummies. So you can go through that and kind of learn the ins and outs of it and how-to documents. And so that is your toolkit. Are there any questions about that part? Does anyone use them?
I've spent time looking at them, but haven't done enough to utilize them.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
fair enough. Well, there's a lot, and that's the thing about all of this. There's so much information, and it's really familiarizing yourself with what's there so you can pick and choose. I mean, we're not all going to use all of this. They're just all to be selected, and customized. So that's the good thing. I definitely use the grab and go for both seller and buyer because it's so stripped down and so easy to flip through, but it hits the key points. So, and then I add some things to it of my own. You can add neighborhood. If you're meeting with a seller, you can add things that are charts that are, or whatever, FMLS stats that are applicable to their neighborhood, and you can add whatever you want to them. But I think it's a great starting point to just have on hand. So definitely.
Yes, Liz, I agree, Liz. I use them all the time, especially the grab and go.
Oh, good. And I need to pass that on because I was asked during this transition period, whether that, I think they were talking about getting rid of those. And I had a problem with that. I was like, please don't, because that's what I use. So I think they just weren't sure how many people were using that piece. So.
Oh, they're great for last minute. Like if you just forgot something or you went off and left your packet, you just go print that and keep moving.
Yeah, agreed. I use those a lot. The postcard campaign, I have not really utilized, to be honest. I forget they're there, and they're very basic. They're not slick like very graphically, detailed or Michael Lewis style. But they are really good for just cranking out some postcards with some stats, basically. So, and sometimes that's all we want to do, just to get that touch out. Okay, so that's the toolkit. Then there's the monthly MMO report, and I'm going to go back to that later, but those are monthly updates so that you've got something more up to date in between the quarterly reports. The quarterly reports come out after the quarter ends. It's usually by the middle of the next month that they come out. It's pretty darn quick considering how much information they have to process and turn around. But it's usually mid-month. So this gives us something to work off of and track each month. And those are fantastic for lead gen. And you can send a chart or two from that every month, just send the same thing. So people get used to looking at that whatever trend, whichever piece you want to use. It's really nice to just have a consistent touch with that every month to your database. So those are good. And then the quarterly has many, I don't know how many charts it's up to, but I believe that's going to be possibly scaled down a little bit. But you've got luxury charts, they're always broken into detached versus condo townhouse. So you've got two sets there. So we've got detached reports for 41 FMLS areas. That is old now. I think they are still 41, but they've got new numbers. So we've got, and then within each home type, you've got a quarterly report and an area report. And again, the area reports were created based off of those FMLS listing area numbers to give more geographical trends for agents to use. That's why they had to come up with new numbers, because that entire piece is based on the old numbers that they did away with. So they now have new numbers. And Brenda, I was telling Teresa and Bala that there is a guide to what those new numbers are in the packet of information. So they're dropped to anyway. I'll show you the interactive stuff too later. Okay, so detached and quarterly, and then condos, same thing, detached and quarterly for condo and townhouse. And those are combined, I believe. The MMO, they've split them out, but I don't think they've done that for quarterly yet. I'll check when we go through these. And then you've got quarterly reports for specific areas. So in town, at Clayton, Fayette, and you can read these. Forsyth, Dawson is one, Floyd, Georgia. So they broke out at the request from agents. Sorry, I'm going to text her. I can hear the background noise. Okay. Hold on one second.
Thank you. But then I'm going to order.
Okay. Any questions so far on that? Okay. So I just touched on, you can pretty much guess the features and benefits of all of this is to make us super smart and have an edge over our competition, because we've got regular charts and trends that we look at. And we can talk to our clients based on facts, not just gut feeling, or, if they're getting a lot of information from neighbors and outside sources. This gives us actual trends and facts to show them. It's only Keller Williams offices and agents, so it's exclusive to us. They were made, honestly, they were made to be as easy to understand and look at. You're not supposed to be a stats person to be able to interpret them and look at them. The more you look at, the more confusing it may get. So I would take them in pieces when you're going through them and just, pick and choose and kind of familiarize yourself. But they really are pretty stripped down and pretty easy to understand. With each chart, you will see notes on the bottom in PowerPoint. And the notes are talking points for each chart. So you're even given teeny little scripts for each thing, things to make sure that your client, whoever you're presenting it to, or yourself, just for understanding what you're looking at, it gives you some notes and talking points, which is really, really cool. The thing that sets us apart from pulling FMLS data or Georgia MLS data is that it takes into account previous listing periods. So as y'all know, if you've got a listing and it doesn't sell in the listing period, or the seller pulls it, withdraws it, or it expires and it gets relisted, it gets a new number. So after 30 days, that history, well, it doesn't really drop off, but when you pull trends, it's not going to pull that previous listing period in FMLS. All of our charts and graphs, they do. They have done incredible, complicated macros and various things to pull in that history of that one listing with multiple listing numbers. So the reason that's important for us and sets us apart is because it really gives the story of that, of what's really happening. If something was listed 3 times and it only shows the current, the most recent listing, then you're not going to see all those price reductions and the days on market that it took that seller who overpriced to actually sell. So it's capturing the overpricing, the price reductions, the true failed listings, like it won't in FMLS. It's just a much clearer picture that it gives. So that's why that is an important thing to emphasize. If somebody asks you, well, I can just use FMLS. Well, this is not going to go back to previous listings. And we have interactive worksheets. So we can actually plug in by price range and or by, again, area, but they're new numbers, new things, but it can be geographical and by price range, which helps you drill down, especially for sellers, but buyers too. You can see what's happening in a specific area, or if they're looking in a certain price range. And it goes back 3 years. And so we can see what's happened. And right now that will be, that's quite interesting to look at because a lot has happened in 3 years. So, and yeah, and it's basically, it's not available anywhere else. So we have got this exclusive to us, and I think we're $5 a month that we pay for all of this. So it's a pretty good deal. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Okay. The things that these charts are going to help you with are, it shows the client and yourself, current trends, what's going on with sales price, how much of the original listing price is the seller getting, and how long it's been taking to be on the market. And then of course the positive and negatives of that for whether it's your buyer or seller. And it helps sellers strategize for pricing. I mean, so much of this is about showing them hard facts about what will happen if they overprice. Right now, it's a little less of a story, but it can still certainly happen. You might have someone who wants to just go crazy on their price, and you can show them what could happen. It's just it is a rear window looking back, but it shows a pretty consistent trend that if you overprice, you're going to take longer and have price reductions and lose your negotiating power. So it's again, fact-based. Shows them the consequences of making the wrong pricing choices. And that is a lot more impactful than just saying, just either saying, oh, well, price it where you want, or, it gives them a picture of what could happen, which is a lot more impactful for them. Okay, so back to the quarterly. Again, we've got detached and condo townhouse for quarterly and area, and then the MMO is broken out the same way. And again, now that the MMO is split between condos and townhouses, they're separated because there can be a pretty big difference in those markets, depending on where it is. Is that it? Hold on. Let's see. I don't think that was the last slide. Hold on one sec. Nope, I didn't think so. Okay, hang on. It froze on me. Okay. Let me go back here. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we quarterly, area, and regular reports, and then we've got the grab and go, the pre-list packet. And I personally, I use this pre-list packet and tweak it as I need, but it's just, again, a great starting point, and you can add and customize as you want. It just gives a nice base for a packet to give out. There are some things I take out and I don't include, and some things I put in. And then selling choices is what I was discussing about for sale by owner, just the different levels of that in the seller quiz. For buyer tools, the grab and go, and I went over all these, the quarterly postcard campaign. Oh, it's 8. I'm sorry, 8 postcards that they give you. And it isn't in publisher. They are little, but you can have them put onto larger size. You can do jumbo, but I think they look a little weird. They're kind of small. So I don't know. If you're good at playing around with sizing, you can probably make it bigger, but I've sent them out as little ones. Again, it's a touch and it's getting sent fax out. You just want to make sure they can be read. And then the MMO. So Chartmaster for Dummies. They give you little tidbits and tactics and scripts, and it's good. I want to go back into that and see if it has been updated for some of the changes they've made over the past year. So I'll let you know if that needs to be updated. And then how-to documents. So you can kind of see best practices for how to assemble each tool and how to use them. So all that, you can spend a lot of time self-training as well on this. Okay. Any questions about the overview? All right. Let me go to. Okay, so I will show you. Let me go to a. Oh, was someone saying something? No. Okay. I'll go to the combined quarterly for the first quarter of this year. Okay. Okay, so this is what the quarterly single family detached looks like now. And they did change the look, Teresa, to your point. They have jazzed it up and made it look a little more modern, which is great. And again, you can print these out. You can pick and choose. If you're not using the grab and go, you can pick and choose charts and put them into your own, your own presentation. You can do it digitally. You can print whatever you're comfortable with. So this is the chart. And then you can see at the bottom down here, it says purpose use. And those are the notes you can use and there's little, arrows down. You can keep reading observations, the use of the chart. And I think those are really helpful, especially with so many charts. You might think, well, how could I use this best? And they're giving you some tips on that, which is fantastic. So there are, 52 slides. These are the new areas. And my box is in the way. These are the new defined areas, just so that they can give you that geographical trend information that they've been doing for a long time. So East Cobb is now 15, and it's all lumped together where it used to be broken out into 3. And then there's Central Cobb and North Cobb. So I have not familiarized myself with those yet either, because they're new and I'm stuck with the old area numbers in my head, but that is there for you to start playing around with. And there are these color-coded area maps too. So Teresa and I were just talking, but does anyone, Amanda, do you use area numbers at all?
No, I don't. You
don't? Okay. Okay. I mean, they basically got rid of them because they felt like they were outdated and that they weren't being used as much. So I was curious as to how many. I've heard some people very upset that they're gone, but a lot of people are using the maps and different ways to look at it. Okay, and I'm just going to, so you've got all of these. There are just many different breakdowns of information for quarterly. This is a nice summary of, sales price, days on market, and sell to list, information. It's a good snapshot. This would be a good one actually to print out and keep with you. It's a good elevator speech or cocktail party kind of talking point. If somebody asks you what the market's doing, this is a good one. That's just an overview.
Liz, I'm still seeing the self-training tools screen
Are
on
you?
mine.
I am sorry. Okay, hold on one sec. Let me stop. Thank you for letting me do that. Hold on, let me get rid of.
Yes.
They're gonna send you a new one because they're gonna cut it to me, not to the office. So they're gonna send you a new DA in a minute.
That's okay. But
Well, that has to go to the attorney that way, not this way, or it's gonna be the wrong check.
That's better.
Okay, can you see that? now?
Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, I just figured it out, you know.
I'm gonna mute them. Okay, can you see, can y'all see that now? The quarterly report?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so this is a good summary page just to have on hand. Every quarter, just look at this and kind of get a snapshot of what's going on. So you can point that out to people when they ask. Median days on market. I mean, the 3-year trend is crazy to look at now when you see them compared, you know, to each other. It's obviously very different than 3 years ago. So just a whole bunch of information to go through. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of these with y'all. This one is great. How's the seller's market affected us? This is becoming a little less relevant right now because we all know there are no choices. There's tons of buyer competition. But when the market was changing, this was very helpful. So we may be at some point looking at this as it changes again. I think right now at this point, we are all pretty aware and our clients are probably aware of this, but it's a good snapshot too, comparing to the heavy buyer's market of 2009. There are, you know, all different kinds of graphs. We've got summaries too, which I'll show you. That's another important one that I like to focus on. If I were going to pare down two charts to use, if you're not, you know, comfortable using many of them, this is the game board. They called it the game board because you've got the green box and the red box. You're the winner if you're in the green box, and you're not doing so great if you're as a seller if you're in the red. So this is a really, really, really good one. I always show this either for sellers and for buyers. For sellers, it's obviously very important to show them what can happen if they overprice. The pain points are not nearly as great right now if they overprice, but over time and as things get, you know, more balanced and possibly shift the other way, this is a really, really good one to show the actual, you know, repercussions of pricing too high. So the green box, people that got it priced right and didn't have to take a price reduction and sold quickly, that they are the winners of the game. And then on the other side, people that overpriced had to reduce their price, and some of them had to list again. And this number in the red box used to be much worse, but it's still, you know, 114 days on the market right now would be extremely uncomfortable for people. So it just shows sellers the pain point of going too far with their price. And for buyers, I use it also. And I let them know, especially right now, you know, if I tell you this is a green box house, meaning they have been on the market a day and it appears to be a house in great condition and priced competitively, we need to act immediately. Again, right now, everything is immediate for the market for buyers. But if you see something that's been on the market more than, now it seems like it's more than 5 days, more than 7 days, I guess we can use this number, or 11, maybe go that far. If it's been on the market longer than that, then you may have negotiating room as a buyer, possibly. And it's usually going to be something that's either condition or price is not in line. So those are the ones that they can negotiate, have more negotiating room on. So that's how I use this one.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any consideration or thoughts on how Zillow and Open Door listings may affect these numbers? Are they enough to affect the numbers? Because they just leave them on the market forever. They say they're, you know, they're listed, but they never accept any offers because they're trying to pick up buyers.
I know. Well, they're in the mix. I mean, if they have a listing number, they're being factored in. So probably a large majority of this red box area right now is made up of those listings. So I mean, it'll just pull days on market and price reductions, which they don't seem to really take either, do they? So they're factored in as far as that. It's just not broken out by the brokerage. But I would guess that they make up the vast majority of these, you know, previously listed or not previously listed, but sitting. So yes,
what is that number? 9.9%?
Yes, 9.9%.
That's pretty high. I wonder how much of that is then.
I would guess a lot. I mean, it seems like that's pretty much all you see for ones that are sitting right now. Or if they've missed the mark and they have to price reduce, they're still not, once they price reduce, they're gone.
They
So
should,
except for
right.
those.
They
Yeah,
should be in that gray box
right,
or
right.
the dark gray box. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel certain that the majority of those are falling into that because everything else is just moving so quickly still.
But that sort of helps us get people to list them right anyway, because it
Correct.
shows,
Yes,
it makes it
yes.
more impactful of not listing at the right price.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, it does. Yeah, for sure. Well, I use this, if I were to pick one, I would use this. And then you can also customize it. So up here, this is an interactive chart, and there are a lot of these for us to use. So what you do is you double click on and I'm not leaving it in slideshow mode so I can do it. You will double click on the chart, and it takes a minute. And it gives you instructions at the top in the red up here as well. So if you forget, and it does take a minute for that to decide to do something. There we go. Okay. Okay. And then up here, you can choose your area number, and there's a drop down arrow. And actually it didn't put the numbers in here. They just gave area, the names of the areas you're looking for. And they're more broad than the numbers, the area numbers used to be. So you can pull up East Cobb. And then here is where you pull your price range if you want, or you can leave all combined. That's up to you. But if you want to look at 500 to 750, you can do that. Then you click outside of the box, and it should apply all of that information. So you've got a more geographical and price oriented chart. And wow, my goodness, that's 105%. So that's another thing you can use. And I always customize it and do the interactive version for listing appointments so that they can see what's happening in their area. I would do it for buyers as well, actually. Oops. Any questions about that? And we use medians because it's just a more stable number than averages. So, okay. And then I'll show you one other chart in these. And then a lot of these are highlighted in the grab and goes that I'll show you as well. Failed listings, are very important to look at and to keep track of. There are still failed listings, and there were 13% in first quarter, which is hard to believe, but they were there. And of course, now we're into second quarter, and things change month to month. So that's where the MMO comes into play too. That's important to look at, so you can kind of keep track of something more recent. But the thing about the game board, it does not factor in failed listings. It talks about price reductions. But this is the second one I would use. If I were picking two, it would be the game board, and they were calling this the bubble chart. Now it's not a bubble, they're rectangles, but this pulls in the same information as that game board, but it's adding failed listings to the mix. So it takes every 100 closed listings. It takes that, and this is all based on the numbers and the percentages of 100 closed listings in first quarter for the whole metro area. 87 sold, 13 failed to sell. There were 17 price reductions, which is 19%, and days on market 69, and they ended up getting 93, basically 94% of their original asking price. So when you take the failed listings and the price reduction listings and add them, 30 out of every 100 listings was overpriced, and 70 were priced correctly. And then it shows that they sold in 8 days and got were likely to get 102% of their original asking price. So this is good because it does show fails. You can fail. It's pretty hard to do right now, but it can be done. And you're right, Teresa, it's probably a lot of Open Door and various things like that. But again, when the market balances a little, and before this current market, heavy seller market, this was really, really important to look at. It still is, because you could still get sellers that think that they can price absolutely anywhere. And we have to have some grounding and, in facts. So this just shows what can happen. And this one can be customized as well. This is also an interactive form, so you can click on it and select your location and price point, and you can bring that for a more, customized version. The other important one in these, you just have to be careful with this one, that I would run it first before you show it to a client, but you can put in, if they're kind of going back and forth with you on list price, you can show them based on these things, if they are overpricing. If the seller's desired list price you think is too high versus what your market analysis says, you can show them what could happen. You can plug in some just generic carrying costs. If they share with you what their mortgage is a month, that's great. It shows them how much, if they're delayed on market because they've overpriced, what their cost is going to be. And it pulls that in, carrying costs versus, not having those, pulls all that data in and shows them the benefit of pricing where you suggest. Obviously, sellers pick their price, and we don't do that, but this is just to kind of show them the possible scenarios, which helps them make better decisions, which is the point of all of this. So that's a great tool. Just run it and make sure, it looks good, because sometimes you'll run it and it's not that big of a difference. So always run it first. And then you can do it by area, by the location of the listing. This is a newer one based on our current market. They have added, and you can do, this is an interactive one as well. Anytime you see these boxes at the bottom or this red instruction area, you'll know it's an interactive, and those are awesome to use. So it's showing by price point and area how many people are getting over asking price. And that's good to show a seller, also good to show a buyer, so that they kind of know what they're up against, and not to discourage them, but to, instill a sense of urgency, and that our list prices are starting points now. I'm sorry if y'all can hear hammering. That's outside. Okay, so there are many, many, many more charts you can look at breaking down all of this information, but those two charts in particular, the game board and the bubble chart, take the majority of those other ones and put them all together so that it's all in one place. There are summary pages, which are really nice. This is another one I would encourage you to print out and have on your desk, or have somewhere easy to reference, so that when people again ask you what the market's doing, you've got some quick stats to give them. Days on market and how it's stacking up against last year. So that there are, a lot of different varieties. Let's see, I don't know why that is green. Oh, these are condos and townhouses. Oh, this is combined. I'm sorry, I pulled up the combined one. So this actually pulls detached and condo townhouses are all in this one file. That's why. So they're trying to kind of show you that they're broken out, which I missed. This is in town, so it's peach. So they've also incorporated the specific areas that they do. You can pull them separately. You can just pull up just detached for the whole city, or just condos and townhouses too. Let's see what else. I would just recommend going through these. This is a good one, and this is in the grab and go as well. You can put in the price point, the price range, and then there's also an area. You can select the area, and you can compare it to the whole city, to the 41 areas. So on the left is your selected customized part, and on the right, it is the whole metro area. So it can kind of show you what that geographical area and price point is like compared to the others. And that can be helpful. Any questions about those?
I got a question. Do you have any copyright issue or anything in using some of these charts?
You can use them as a Keller Williams agent. They can be sent out to clients. They can be shown to clients, but we do not recommend. They are copyrighted. Yes, to answer your question. Yes, they are. So they are not to be shared with agents from other brokerages unless, you know, you're having a conversation, obviously that's fine, but we are not to provide those to others because they are something that we pay for on a monthly basis. They make us stand out and they are a great tool for Keller Williams. So
Yeah, are we allowed to use it for clients?
oh, of course. Yes. As
Yes,
far as
okay.
you would show them,
Yes,
you can leave them a chart or two.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would not forward like the entire quarterly report.
No.
to them. I wouldn't do that.
Okay, I
That
agree.
could be used, you know, incorrectly.
Yes, yes,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
Thanks.
Great question though. And yeah, we do have to kind of protect the tool. Okay, let me show you just really quickly. So the townhouse and condo quarterly is just like this. So I'm not gonna go through that with you. Let me just get out of that. And, okay. Hang on one sec. I'll just show you the area report very quickly. And again, we've got a new guide with the new area numbers. Okay, can y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it gives some background. They're very good about giving just kind of summaries of what you're looking at, what it's to be used for, you know, best uses for it, which is helpful. Again, this is color coded. So if you want to kind of print this, I would recommend just printing out this chart just to have on hand. If you use area numbers, or if you're using this particular, you know, if you're using these files, you'll have a quick reference. So, you know, it just breaks it out again by area, as it says, and there are different ways. Numbers sold, change in numbers sold from the same time last year, and they're color coded by kind of sections of the city. Distressed sales, are there any? Hardly, not really. That will change over time, and they just break it out by category. Median sales price, that's a great one to show. You know, you can circle, highlight your clients' target areas, and if they're looking at, you know, Roswell, Alpharetta, and Sandy Springs, you can kind of show them the differences at a quick glance with those. So those are helpful. Change in median sales price is helpful too. Those are kind of good for a quick snapshot to see what's going on. Days on market as well. Then there are interactives for these also, so you can go into this if you've got a buyer who's looking in a variety of places. Let's just take what's in here, Vinings, Brookhaven, Buckhead. You can show them the differences between, you know, what they can expect to pay and days on market and all of that. So it's a side-by-side comparison. And then this right here is for the whole metro Atlanta area. So this is I love this one for buyers. I really like using this one. Let's see, this is again another interactive. You can pull you can look at the different price points in a specific area. This is, you would pull it by the area and then look at all the different price ranges to see what each one is doing. And I showed you this one earlier in the quarterly. So you can take one price point and area and compare it to the whole metro area. So that's the area, those are the area reports. And again, you've got them for condos and townhouses also. Let me get out of that. And I just want to show y'all the grab and go and then whatever questions y'all have for me. But I just thought I'd run through the grab and go really quick. Because again, I use it. I think it's a good tool. And I think it's a great thing just to have on hand. And I will get back to sharing the screen. Okay, so this is the seller grab and go. And can y'all see this one?
Yes.
Thank you. Good. All right. So you can rearrange these charts however you want. I actually have started I put them in a binder. I do it old school and print them out. That's just how I'm comfortable using them with clients, but I will put the pricing section first because that seems to be what everyone just, they want to know about that first, but they have marketing first in this. They are to be customized and set up however you want. So they're giving you the tools and you can put them however you'd like. But you've got a marketing section, which will go through how you're going to market their house, and you can customize all of these. And it gives some stats on how buyers find their houses, some nice charts showing that the vast majority are on the internet. And that helps you, bring home the importance of staging and photography and all of that. So those are included. This is the pie chart for how buyers are finding homes. I hope it's updated 2020. Well, there may be something newer, but I will ask them. And then all the websites that when you list with Keller Williams, where your listing will go out to all the hundreds and hundreds of websites. So that's the marketing piece. And then it's all marketing, but the pricing part is next. And it pulls those key slides from the quarterly report into one place. So this, again, is a great summary of what sales, median, sale price, original list price, what they're getting of that, and median days on market. It's a nice snapshot to do talking points with. Let me see if, and again, there are notes down here. So you can look at those as well. If you're doing it on a tablet or a computer, there is a way to make those notes go away. You probably don't want those up when you're showing a client. You want to tell them versus have them read it. So just be aware of that. Then it just goes through, what the conflicting information sources we have that clients get. They get information from a variety of different sources, and not all of them are realistic or really what's happening. So this is a good chart for that. And then the game board. And what I do is put the total market one, which is this, and then I do an interactive version based on wherever they live and what price point they fall in, so they can see the difference. And we can talk about that in the listing consult. And buyers, again, well, this is the listing this is the seller. Price reductions, it will show them, what's going on with that. The effect of if you overprice and you have to reduce, what will you be looking at as far as a penalty? On the red is not price reduced, the gray is price reduced. That's a great talking point. And all the game board and the bubble chart all pulls this information into it, which is why they're very helpful. You can just go to one place for that. Days on market, again, the penalty you'll pay on the market if you overprice. And there's, let's see, this is the interactive version. Again, you can change the order of all of this however you'd like. Failed listings and the bubble chart. And then the your price, my price sheet, if you choose to use it. I think it's pretty effective, especially when it balances out a little bit, and people may still think when it's shifting back, if that happens, when we have, you can't get by with as much with list prices, that will be probably pretty important. It'll be a little difficult as we transition, to know which price is going to work. But anyway, this is a good tool for them to look at. This is another compilation of facts. You can talk to them. These are seller myths. Sometimes sellers think, oh, the longer I'm on the market, the more likely I am to get my price. And this shows that is not true, this first one. So I would, just review these charts that are in the grab and go. They're helpful for talking points with your sellers. This is another interactive, which we saw before, and how many people are getting at or above 100% of their asking price. And then there's a piece on staging, which is very basic, but it's helpful. Return on investment and things like that, just to promote staging because it's still important. So that is the seller grab and go. And I will show you one more, the buyer. I'll show you the buyer one, and then we'll do questions. It's loading. Hang on one second. No, it didn't work. Hold on. Okay. Buyer grab and go. Again, information for you to use. Don't print this out or show them. It's again, instructions on how to use it and things to talk about. This is the area map. You can choose to use it or not, depending on how you use the information. This is another really good one. Let me move this. We call this the American Idol chart. And the black line is the not joke, the saying is that the black line is the sellers that think they can sing. And then the red bars are the people that actually can. So obviously this in a heavy buyer's market, there were a lot of people that thought that they were going to sell and they just didn't make it. Now, obviously we are not in that situation, but you can kind of see for this that really the red bars are actual sales. And the black is the months of supply, and the black bars are the active listings. And so you can see how, they have fluctuated, but really the number that have sold hasn't changed dramatically over the years. It stayed pretty consistent. It's just obviously the supply has changed quite a bit. The green line is a balanced market of 6 months of supply on the market. And so that's kind of where we gauge if it's above, if these black actives are above the 6 months, we've got a buyer's market. If it's below, it's either balanced or a seller's market. And we can see where we are right now. And so that is the American Idol chart. But it's a good one. It's a good visual. Again, this compiled the same thing we saw before in price reductions. It's a lot of the same charts, but it's just you can talk to a buyer in a different way about it and use it, kind of flip it for them. Again, it's all about setting their expectations when they're out in the market. And so these things will help them see, what they're up against, how quickly they need to react when they see something good. And these are fact-based ways to show them. And then the mobile app search and some strategies we have. Okay. Are there any questions? If anyone, ever needs any help with any of them or wants to know about maybe a certain category of chart that you'd like to use, let me know, because there's so much to go through. If you don't have time to search, I'm pretty familiar with what's in there. So if you need luxury information, we've got that as well. So you can always reach out and let me know. So that is it. That is Chartmaster. Oh, I didn't go over the monthly market overview, but they are, let me just pull that up really quick. I won't keep you much longer, but that is important to kind of take a look at. Hold on one second. Let's do that. And now it's, okay, hold on. Okay, can y'all see that? I think I did it. No, I did not. Hold on one sec.
Yes.
Oh, could you see it? All right, I bailed too quick. Hold on.
Well, we couldn't see it now.
Okay. It should be there now. You see the Metro
It's there.
market?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry. I'll be super quick about this. So the beginning is detached, and then it goes into condos and then into townhouses. So they break it out. So this is by price point, and then you've got actives, pendings, pending ratio, closings. You can read all that. This is the basic version, and then it breaks it out further in the second one. It puts in price reduced versions of all of those categories. So you can see those that have had to price reduce have more days on market than those that don't. So this is a good one to look at as well. It's a lot of numbers, but if you isolate a price range or a specific category you're looking at, that's helpful. So that's a good one to use. Again, this isn't interactive. You can pull by geographic area on this one, and it'll show the price, what's happening in each price range. There's obviously a lot of overlap in these, but this one, the important part about the Metro Market Overview is it's monthly. So there is, of course, still a rear view mirror-ish kind of feel, but we can't look forward. So it's just the most recent information that we can get. Same chart I showed you before, but it's for the month. And then price range compared to last year. And the one I use a lot is, well, this is a newer one. We saw that in the quarterly also, but they're doing this monthly as well, which is great. This is the yearly trend analysis, kind of breaks it down with a little summary. But this one is what I like to use. It has a little trend line at the end, and it shows over 6 months, because these other charts are comparing to the same time last year. But sometimes I want to look at like what has happened since January, since a lot has changed. We've had a lot of changes month to month. So this kind of breaks that out. I usually look at the median sale price and how it's changed monthly. So I use that one a lot with buyers and sellers. And then there's this one I've used often. It's almost, I mean, the whole thing is almost seller's market. Now, at some point the seller's market would end at 700 and above. So you can show them kind of where that is, which this is, again, a good visual for that. So now you've got to get to 3 million and above to be in a buyer's market, according to our latest. So, and then again, there's attached, and then they've broken it out into condo only, and it says it up here. And I thought there was a townhouse. There is, yeah, and then townhouse is here. So you can be more specific on that if you'd like to do that. That's it. So this is monthly. I like to look at these as well, and it's a good pulse check to have month to month in between quarterly. So that is it. It's 12:01. So that's all I've got. If anyone has questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Liz.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Bye. Have a good day.